Hey everyone, welcome to 2 Seconds Watch channel on YouTube. Today I'll be doing an unboxing of the Cartier Tank MC, which was probably launched in 2013, and it has been quite a phenomenal watch at its time, being one of the first Cartier tanks with the manufacture movement. So here we go. Yeah, there you go. So this is the Cartier Tank MC. Now, of course, these Cartier tanks have been discontinued, which was launched around, I think, 2013 and has been in production for a couple of years. It was quite revolutionary when it's launched. This is one of the first watches that Cartier decided to introduce their in-house manufacturing movement. Well, it's not the first one. The first one was the Cartier Calibre, which was more of a rounded kind of design. I'm going to put the picture up for you to have a look here. So you can see this was the first Cartier watch, the Calibre de Cartier, which came with the 1904 MC Manufacture Cartier movement. So it's a round movement, it's one of the in-house ones. And this is one of the first few watches after that came with it. But it was the first tank to have the in-house manufacture movement by Cartier. I've had a watch like this in my personal collection for a couple of years. And of course, this current unit here is not the watch that I've been having for a couple of years, but it is exactly the same watch that I had. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I really like. I would call it a long-term review of this watch and how it feels on your wrist, and how it wears as well. So yeah, let's take it out from where it is, and we can have a little close-up on it as well. So you can see here, with the, I think, mid-range kind of Cartier watches in the mid-range price range, you can see that they come with this Cartier Clasp, and the leather band is very fantastic as well. So these are I think the earlier models pre-2019. So this is a 2019 model. They came with a white box, a white Cartier box. So one thing I love about Cartier is really their packaging in their box. This red box is really amazing, and I think it wears well to time as well. But other than that, it is so much better than some of the watch boxes out there. I mean, trust Cartier, which is a high-end jewelry maker, to have this kind of packaging. So I'm going to put the box here like this, and we're going to go through the watch. Okay, so this is the side view of the watch. One of the things that really stands out this tank, which, I mean, of course, we know that there are the classic Louis Tank Cartier, there is the Tank American, and the other tanks in Cartier's lineup. But what made this Tank MC so special to me was it married some of the beautiful features that you see on, for example, a Tank Cintre, okay, with the white flanks, which is high polished white area here, and it married this with a much bigger size dial and the tank design. So in a Tank American, it is much thinner. In the Tank Cintre, you get a bit of the curve. In fact, some of the new Tank Americans, you get the curve as well. But this one seems to be really good in the sense that it brings that aesthetic feature of the Tank Cintre, Tank American, modernizes it, and pulls open the dial. Okay, and you can see that really clearly right now. If you have a look at the dial, you can see how even the design elements of it. I'm going to show you some close-up videos. But if you look at the design elements of this outer guloche, they call it, where they have this design where it's radiating outwards, and followed by, the Roman numerals as well, which is hand painted here. Of course, there is no lume on this watch. I think it's meant to be a dress piece. You do see the finishing quality compared to the entry-level Cartier tanks. It's really, really different. You see this type of design element on the dial and the complexity in maybe the Tank Louis Cartier that's still in production and on sale today, the gold one. You will see these are design details. Okay, and the other thing that's really unique about this tank is you get these step down sub-seconds, running sub-seconds, which I mean, some reviewers, some people have called it a very masculine kind of thing. I have to disagree. I just think the sub-seconds thing gives, because there's so much dial now, right, compared to the normal Cartier tank. It gives a kind of balance to the dial, so that you can see the second hands moving here. In a classic, maybe tank Cartier, like Cartier Tank Must, which was launched in 2021, you don't see any of these, okay, because they are quartz movements or the photo, solid bead movements. But with this one, because it's an automatic, they really want to show these sub-second hands. You can, it really is very, very handsome and very, very beautiful in the sense that they all finish very well. And if you look down here, you can also see the Cartier signed, what do you call that, specialty that they do on all their dials. Okay, so you get this wide, high polished sides, which is centrist, and you get this brush here. So this is all brushed over here, and it marries down to a very beautiful alligator strap. See, think about the high-end watches like Cartier, they really put attention to detail. You see how the alligator leather here that connects from here to here, this is really attention to detail. You see this in watches like Cartier, you see this in watches like Hermes, of course you see in different higher end watches as well, but it really is a nice detail that you have a look at it. Let's go back to the side. Can you believe it? This watch, one of the things that's so beautiful about this watch is you get this high polish on top, of course, and the brush finished here. You get this design elements here, okay, and it is only, get this, less than 10 millimeters thick. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 9 millimeters thick. So it wears very, very well. Wonderful curve, flat, and I'll show you a wrist shot after this. So this is the crown side. Okay, they have the beautiful, of course it's not sapphire or anything, but it's a cabochon, they call it. But you do see that, it is very beautifully, and this is, I think this is what you call a very special Cartier tank kind of feature, to have it like this. It's a very classic tank design element. So the other thing that I really liked about this watch, in the long-term wear, that you do feel it. You do feel when you put it on a wrist, and I'll show you a wrist shot in a bit. Look at the sapphire glass. These watches, look at it. The sapphire glass is perfectly inside and curved according to the case. There is no lip, there's no increase. Of course, that means that it is so smooth in the sense that you get this kind of let me see if I can bring you a close-up shot to have a look at it. You can see it's just one piece. That the sapphire glass is wonderfully curved there, and it gives this beautiful distortion when you look at it from the side. So as you look at the watch, you can see the distortion, okay, and the reflections as well. But it never really comes to a point where I couldn't tell the time, because it was really easy to read at all times. So the thing about this Tank MC, which I really, really like, is the execution of the date window. Now I know I'm very particular about execution of date windows, especially watch manufacturers like IWC, the Mark 20, for example, which is priced brand new for what, almost 4,000 to 5,000, 4,000 US dollars, and it can't even get a date window correct. This is clear, very well executed design, and if you look at how they did the date window, I just love it. It's properly framed, it's matching, the fonts are perfect, it lines up perfectly. These are the things that I think for a high-end watch, or to be known for a well-designed watch, is something that watch manufacturers cannot cop out on and should not. And that's why I really respect the Cartier, how they do the date window over here. So it's so unobtrusive. You don't need it, you don't see it. Beautiful, marriage and design is perfect. Yeah. So I'm looking at your IWC Mark 20, and IWC, you always seem to make watches with the wrong date window, even at their price points. So, like I said, these watches, were very, very well made. I'm not sure how popular they were, but I would call them a unisex option. So initially it's marketed at men, but I think a lot of ladies like this watch and they wear it as well. In fact, this belongs to a lady as well. So I'm going to go through the back. Okay, I've already spoken about the alligator leather strap. Of course, the Cartier, the genuine alligator leather straps are so beautiful. I think I think the only other alligator leather strap which I say is comparable or better than the Cartier one is the Hermes one. Okay, the Hermes watch straps are better, but the Cartier ones are second to it, and I think they're wonderful as well. So I want to talk a bit about the clasp here before I go into the movement. So if you have a look at this clasp here, this is of course a very firm and well-designed clasp, and to open it, you just push it. There's a lot of tension that you require. You can hear the reassuring click, okay? But one of the things that I had long-term that was quite annoying, that you don't realize this until you buy the watch. Of course, it's not a major issue. Is because it's so firm and so tight when you wear it on the wrist and you try to take it out. Over here, I have on occasion actually injured my finger while opening it up here because of this area over here. So it's okay, but because it's so firm and to wear it on and to put it on and to pull it out, you really got to pull on it, and it ends up injuring your fingers. So that can happen. But the good thing about this kind of very unique deployment, I would say, is how you can really size it to any way that you want it. Look at how it is. So the way it works is the watch goes there. The watch strap. So the way it works is the watch strap goes here and it hooks into here. I had a lot of trouble trying to size this. I had to watch the video on Cartier's website, especially this part here, where you see it goes like that and it hooks along a bar, a spring bar or something like that, that goes around like that. So it allows you to really have it exactly how you want it on the wrist, and so that you have this perfect fit here and it's unique to you. And I must say, the leather strap as well. These Cartier alligator leather straps are so well made, they're so durable, they're so well. I think with normal wear and tear, I had it long term for a couple of years. They never need replacing. Okay, for many years. Even 5-6 years, these straps last very long. As long as you don't, you take care of the leather, you don't purposely expose it to elements. I'm not talking about going swimming with it and things like that. But if you're just wearing it normally, for office wear, to work on the weekends, this strap's going to last you forever. Okay, yeah. So that's one of the things that I must highlight, that the strap is very, very beautiful, and I'm not sure about the aftermarket options available because of the lug width here is I think it's a 25.5 millimeters. It's kind of a strange size, so you won't be able to find it. You have to custom it. And yeah, mind you, one of these pair of these watch straps, you can change the color. You can buy it from Cartier, but they do cost quite a lot of money. Probably, just under $1,000 US, $800 for a pair. But for what they are, they're really, really well made. Yeah? I would compare them to the top brands. Really, they are a really top brand in the marketplace, and it tells with the attention to detail. Yeah? So let's talk about the movement. There are not many watches at this price range. I think brand new these watches were selling for about I think they were about over $6,000 US, brand new. Okay, they can be had at a bargain now for about $3,000 to $4,000 US. I think these watches are really collectible right now, and they're going to go up in price. So if you're thinking of getting a Tank, or if you're thinking of getting a Tank Must, okay, or any of the Tank series, I would ask you to seriously consider this pre-owned to get the Tank MC instead. I believe that these are going to be very collectible in the future because of the movement, the finishing. These were made at high-end prices, but at the same time, they are in the pre-owned market. The prices have not been moving up much yet. They're about the same price, but for what you get, this kind of almost mid to high horology luxury kind of level, it's going to be something that's very special, and you will appreciate this movement as well. Whenever you turn the watch around, look at the movement and observe it in the light, I think something that's really special. Of course, it's not necessary to always have in-house movement. It's not necessary to have a open case back movement, but I do find myself many times, taking the watch out, having a little movement, just observing it, seeing how the balance wheel and everything moves around. So it's a beautiful movement. I think it's a 40 plus hours power reserve, not that high. For this time, it's pretty good. But at the same time, the decoration on it, you get to see the Cotes Genève, the pelage. It's very, very well finished. Very, very well finished indeed. So I'm going to show you how, when you pull out the crown, and how you can set the time. So you got two areas where you can pull out 1 level, 2 levels, and you can adjust the time over here. Okay, do you see that? So that was the instantaneous date change, which was quite special about the Cartier. It has that instantaneous date change, and of course, if you wind it across, continue winding it, and yeah, let's see the movement. The movement is very, very buttery smooth. I mean, you can really feel the quality of watches when you wind the movement, and this one is really a joy to wind. I mean, it's a little hard to wind because of the crown. Probably don't need to wind it if you wear it often enough, but it does give a very satisfying winding. Of course, the water resistance of this watch is not very high. It is 30 meters water resistant. It is also not chronometer certified, but I don't think it's that bad because it's keeping time quite well. I mean, these watches are not dive watches. They're not meant to, go much, not meant for sport activities if you say that. But if you do wash your hands and things like that, I think it's pretty okay. 30 minutes water resistant. It's not the end of the day for this type of watches. You don't want to get the leather wet as well. You want to get them dry most of the time. So yeah, wonderful winding feel on this one, and very, very smooth as well. So you get this very buttery feel, very much like the Rolex 3135 movement, or the Rolex movements, 3130 movements. They have this wonderful, wonderful winding feel. Yeah. So of course you have a date quick set as well. Okay, which sets very quickly, and of course hacking if you wanna make it more accurate as well. Beautiful movement, and most importantly, like I was saying, it's also the finishing of the movement, the quality of finishing of the movement, and the whole overall wearability and the feeling of this watch overall. It gives you the hint of luxury, it gives you a good feel, and of course, it's a very beautiful all-rounder watch. So I'm going to give the lug-to-lug measurements here, but you should not really compare them to a round watch because they wear very differently. It wears very much larger. Okay, I'm going to show it to you on the wrist shot. So yeah, we got a good movement, got a good watch, and you got a beautiful tank design. You got an iconic Roman numerals around it. The dial color is a bit silverish, but a lot of detail, finishing qualities, touches that you see in very high-end, high luxury movement piece. It feels very luxurious. And I tell you what, when I had this watch and I was wearing it long term, it was one of the very few watches that non-watch people, when they saw this watch on my wrist, they commented that, wow, this watch is very beautiful. I say, wow, what watch is that? Some of them even knew that it was a Cartier. They knew it was a Tank, but they weren't very sure because of the design. But I had many, many compliments. This watch actually gave more people noticed this watch on my wrist than the Omegas, the Rolexes, the other watches that I have in the chronographs. Non-watch people also appreciate because they know it's a Cartier, they know it's a Tank. Watch people, I'm not sure about the watch community, but I think this is a very underappreciated gem. And like I said, mark my words, at this time of this recording of this video, this is going to go up in price. You can find them about $3,000-4,000 US dollars now, maybe $4,000 pre-owned from a reputable dealer. But they come, it's amazing quality. Like this one right here, it's not over polished, and you see you get this beautiful curve here, and it's all checks out very, very well. Beautiful movement as well. Okay, so I'm gonna put it here on the wrist. So the watch wears large, but because the lugs are quite short, but it's quite wide, you get this very large presence of the watch. Like I said, it's very recognizable, very iconic. But at the same time, it's not too big over here, so you can wear it on wrist as small as 6-inch. My wife loved to borrow this watch to wear it anyway on the 6-inch wrist as well. So it is a beautiful piece, and this is how it wears on the wrist. So remember what I was saying about let me see if I can show you how flat it wears. Yeah, there you go. Right, you can see how flat it wears, and it slides perfectly under a long sleeve shirt or a cuff. If you're wearing a blazer, a jacket, or it slides so easily. And this is how it looks like here at this side. You see how slim it is and how it wears. So you can wear it a little tighter on the wrist. I'm wearing a bit loose today. This is not sized for my wrist, but you can see how flat it wears here. So it has that wonderful curve, and it does have that hint of elegance that you can see from this watch. Now let's talk about the negatives, if I have any, of this watch. Okay, I know I don't really cover negatives in our watch videos because I find it's very subjective. Positive. I don't say positives and negatives because they're very subjective. Every person has a different feel to it. But I just want to give you that feeling of how the watch is on the wrist, some of the features, so that you might, when you buy this piece and when you wear it, then you get the accurate representation, that kind of feeling that I can convey, because watches are all about emotions anyway, right? It's not really just about the movement. The only thing that I say that did affect me a little was the clasp and how tight it is, but it's not like I said, it's not a big issue. But if you do look here, if you have a small wrist, there's this part here, the deploying part here. I did notice it. You see how it curves? It's a little long. Now this is not just unique to Cartier, but it is a problem with some watches with a longer deploying clasp, and the watch is supposed to wear a little larger. But I did solve the problem by shortening this side a little more so that the strap comes up a little here, but it will wear very well anyway. So there was no real impairment. It didn't really feel unwieldy in any way, and the watch it's of the right size, right weight as well, so it's not unwieldy or anything. I did, however, find that if you're getting this watch, just be aware that for a watch piece like this high polished pieces, they're very easy to scratch. They're scratch magnets. Okay, so if you're going to be bothered about minor scratches, you're going to get minor scratches no matter how you wear this watch. As careful as I was, you're going to get scratches over here. So you're going to have to accept it. But it didn't really bother me. But it could bother some people if you don't really like the scratches and everything. But I'm sure it can be easily polished off, but you probably don't want to do it all the time. So this is the complete comprehensive Cartier Tank MC watch review. I haven't seen anyone on YouTube do it as detailed as this so far, but there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you like this type of content, it will really help to like and subscribe to our channel, because I did look at the statistics. 90% of people watching our videos are not subscribing. So it will really help this channel. It really help us, motivate us to give you more of these kind of watch reviews that you don't really see on YouTube. So thanks again for tuning in, and have a nice day.